How did The Wrong Man's come about, Matt?
Well, how far back do we want to go?
Well, when were you born?
I was born.
22nd of August 1978, a young man was born who had an idea. No,
Well, we first met on the set of a film called Telstar, directed by Nick Moran, and then we sort of hit it off then and worked together a couple of times after. James was kind enough to write a part for me in Gavin and Stacey, and it
not
was
on my own,
with Ruth
Yeah.
Jones, the amazing Ruth
she
Jones.
knew about it. Not like I said.
Yeah.
She didn't. Yeah.
And then on the set of Gavin and Stacey, we started talking about.
We started
this
talking
idea.
about our love of American box set shows, you know, that and that feeling of just having to watch the next week, and the production values that are in those shows, and we sort of thought, and we started talking about, I wonder whether it would be possible to do something where the stakes are that high and the polish is that sort of filmic, if you like.
And we felt like maybe people weren't writing that stuff because when you're writing, you're thinking about how you're going to get a thing made and how you're going to get it even commissioned in the first place. And I think we felt like we should throw all of those ideas out of the window and just write a car crash in the first 2 minutes of a show and write a helicopter flying in or whatever.
Yeah, and we just
see
sort of
where
set
we could
out,
go with it.
We set out to just write one script, one episode, and just see what the response was to it, really. And we had this, we'd been to see Burn After Reading, and we both loved it as a film, a Coen Brothers film, and we loved how funny it was. We just thought it was a really, you know, there's real, as in all their films, real moments of humour, and yet the stakes are really, really high in that. And we would often talk about the scene when Brad Pitt's character and Frances McDormand's character are calling John Malkovich's characters, and they just keep saying the words Osborne Cox. They just keep saying Osborne Cox because they think they're involved in something huge. And so we talked about these films and different things.
We talked about film noirs where you get that sort of strand of film noir that's the classic thing of private detectives or policemen, but you also get those ones where someone very ordinary makes one single decision or mistake and they're just sucked into something that they're immediately out of their depth, and then they sort of spiral into disaster.
And we thought, well, what if you could do that within the constraints of a half-hour BBC comedy? You know, what would happen if something of that magnitude happened, and it happened to just two ordinary guys? There would be real moments in that were very funny. There would be moments where you're going, I don't know, well, I don't know either. What do you think we're going to do? You know, and we would talk about, like, you know, in things like 24 or the Bourne films and stuff like that. There would be a moment where they might go, we have to go to Paris, and it would just cut to two shots of Paris, and Jason Bourne would be coming out of a subway, and if that was our show, we'd try and have the exact same intensity, the exact same reason and meaning, and go, we have to go to Paris. But it would cut, and they would be like online trying to book Eurostar tickets and talking about why is it more expensive off peak and on peak, and do you want a vegetarian meal?
Can
and
we
I want
go
an
at
aisle seat
10 because it's cheaper?
You know what I mean? And
someone's life's in danger, but
and just deconstructing those things, because in a lot of those films, people travel great distances and you never really see it. They just end up somewhere, and you go, well, they must have stopped to get something to eat. Do you know what I mean? Or had a nap. Or
even down to the fact that people fight in these things and it doesn't seem to hurt that much. If you punch someone as hard as you can, it hurts your hand, and if you get hit, you're dizzy and
no one's eyes ever water. You know? No one ever's going, you know. You never really see Bruce Willis doing that, and there's a reason for that. And and it would be a different thing if it was, but that was sort of how it came about, really. You know. Whether we've pulled it off is another matter, but that's where it started.